I've just picked, I think it's about 8 sessions that I've attended, or if I've not had time to attend, I've downloaded the sessions after and I've looked through. And some of which I think, well, most of them hopefully I think people will find useful here. I am going to go through each one at a very, very high level. I've got URLs for every one of them at the start of each of the sections, and I've also got some neat ways towards the end of the deck that give you a shortcut to download everything if you want. You can download the whole lot if you have the bandwidth and you have the disk space. Okay, so this one here. So the way I kind of chose my sessions initially, as well as the Azure and some of the tracks I wasn't familiar with, I chose my sessions based on speaker. So I'm lucky enough to know most of the System Center, Cloud and Data Center Management MVPs. We're only kind of a relatively small group. So I'm lucky enough to know them, and certainly have spent some time with them, albeit in an Irish bar or something. But Cameron Fuller and Chris Ross and Jason Sandys, if you know, or if you've been following anything in the System Center community, I'm sure at some point in time you've come across a blog or a tweet or, you know, a forum answer from one of these 3 guys. And they did a really, really cool and fun session. Now, I'm definitely not even going to be able to give you an idea as to how good it was from me doing it here without you watching the video, because they do a really good role play kind of scenario based kind of fun session that they deliver. But you know, their session was based around user provisioning. And by the way, these are just 2 or 3 slides from each presentation, by the way. Okay, so if they seem out of sync, they are out of sync. So user provisioning. So their session basically was you know, doing a role play kind of scenario where, you know, they had a guy who was basically saying, look, you know what, I can go out and I can deploy 100 users in a day or 2 days by going and, you know, installing each one, or, you know, maybe I can do it with PowerShell. Of course we can't, we know we can't, but, you know, they were kind of doing the role play where one person or one guy was doing this all manually, and then the other team, if you like, or the other side of the fence, if you like, were doing it using System Center and seeing how efficient they could make it. So Service Manager, who has Service Manager or who has deployed Service Manager? And no one. Okay, it's in Ireland it's not taken off as much as it should. It's a big product in the System Center suite. Service Manager it's an essential product, in fairness, in the System Center suite if you want to integrate everything. But it's basically Microsoft's ticketing, incident, help desk, change control. You know, it's the central location that has the CMDB, the configuration management database, and has basically all of the other products link into it and generate or store their data into it. So the point I was going to make is if anyone had Service Manager, you would know that the Service Manager self-service portal is based on SharePoint Foundation and is very, very awkward and kind of hard to skin or to jazz up, if you like. And the first thing that struck myself and anyone else attending this session was that the guys over in Catapult that were delivering it skinned the SSP, the self-service portal, completely. It was amazing. Like, that one slide doesn't do it justice. I had a photo, but the resolution wasn't great. But if you look at the session online, you'll see how they've skinned it down. It's pretty neat. So they're using the likes of Service Manager, Orchestrator, which is the automation tool in System Center, basically to connect and integrate into Active Directory and Exchange and provision users. Group provision in similar scenario. So they were using the self-service portal in Service Manager to create runbooks, or, well, to work with runbooks. John is going to do a bit of automation, or at least talk about it later. And then integrate into Active Directory and create groups or whatever entity you wish in Active Directory. They were also doing some virtual provisioning, so, you know, deploying virtual machines, again using, you know, a self-service portal for end users to request resources, or dev teams to request resources to then integrate with Orchestrator and deploy out the virtual machines to Hyper-V. In that particular session there's a quick summary. You know, essentially the message you're trying to get across: System Center is more powerful when using multiple connectors. It is. You know, that's what I mentioned earlier. If you get System Center just for one product, make sure it's SCOM. No, SCOM is definitely a good one to get it for. But in saying that, you know, if you do have SCOM, then you know you're already SCOM 2012. You're already licensed for the rest of them. So start looking at how you can integrate orchestrator, maybe service manager, DPM, you know, VMM, virtual machine manager, which is becoming an absolutely integral part of the suite as well. So the more of them that you integrate, the better the solution. The more time you save, you know, the more value for money you get. Automation is not for every situation. Of course it's not. You know, if you were to go out and build a run book, which took you half a day or whatever amount of time it took you to do a particular task that you do once in a blue moon, or that you might not do for another 2 years, you're probably better off just doing the task manually. So it's just a case in point on that session there.